This is the KoperCrabb Podcast.
I'm Cheney Crab.
I am Naveen Copperweiss. Yo, yo, yo.
Check 1, 2.
Check it out. What up?
Remember, if you want to submit questions for the podcast, send them to our email at kopercrabbpodcast@gmail.com. We get to all of them.
We definitely do.
Sooner or later.
That's because there's about 5 or 6 per month. So it's not too hard to get to. Just kidding.
I wish
just
there
kidding.
were.
We only pick 5 or 6.
That's true. We haven't been doing them lately, so I was like, okay, today we're going to bust out some questions. It's kind of old school. That's like how the show started. Remember?
Doing Q&A.
Yeah. I remember.
I don't know. Did it start like that?
It totally did. I remember we made the decision to do the podcast, and we both made statuses on Facebook saying, hey, we're going to shoot a podcast episode, so hit us up with your questions.
Submit your cues.
What are some tour Q&As or some musician Q&As?
I got an idea.
That's crazy. Sorry. When we first started the podcast, touring was just regular old touring.
Just go on tour. What's that like?
With that being said, we have not played a show since this podcast started. There's some crazy trivia for you.
That's super crazy. I never even thought of that.
And we're almost on, this is episode 68 or 69. I think it's 69. Next week is, wow, it's the good old lucky 69, I guess.
So that means that we're just like speculating. We're just fakers, pretenders.
What do you mean? Now we're pretenders because we haven't played a show in 2 years.
We don't know what we're doing.
But back in the day.
We're out of touch.
Back in the day 2 years ago. Yeah, we're out of touch. Now it should be like a how to be a band in the wake of a pandemic.
That's the podcast should be about that.
Maybe it has been this whole time.
Whoa. All right, elephant in the room. Naveen, I'm seeing Bud Light seltzers over by your side of the desk. And you claim that you weren't drinking anymore. So I am going to crack this Bud Light seltzer. It's my first BL seltz back.
Wow.
Although I did drink a few beers over the weekend. Full disclosure.
You know what's funny is in the last episode, you were talking about how you were going to go and do what you did over the weekend.
Yeah.
But you were going to go for the first time not drinking.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So okay, well, I did drink a bit, but anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
Let's see how this tastes.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's good to be here with you. Good to be here chatting on the good old KoperCrabb Podcast.
That's refreshing. Okay, so I did decide that I was going to have some beers at the horseshoe tournament that I go to with my dad. Mm-hmm. His friend puts on an annual horseshoe get-together with a bunch of his buddies and some of their sons.
So is it actually about playing horseshoes? Because you've never really been clear on that with me.
He just has like a cabin and he has a bunch of sweet games. And there's shuffleboard, darts, and there's like 50 guys who go. So they have like tournaments in every game, basically.
Okay. I may be the only woman who is the significant other of someone who goes to the horseshoe tournament who has been to the house.
That's true.
Because we got to go stay at the house on tour.
On our last tour.
No way.
Yeah, that was our last tour.
No way.
Yeah.
That was okay. So we went on a day off of our last tour because it's kind of off the beaten path. It's close to Yosemite.
It's like it was kind of on the way on a drive, and I was like, oh, maybe we can go stop by there. Totally. But I didn't go that year because we were on tour, and then next year it got canceled.
Whoa.
But yeah, long story short, I was like, okay, I'm going to go up there.
To get there, sorry to interrupt you again, but to get there, you go over the highest bridge in California.
Yeah, it's super, super tall.
It's scared the absolute shit out of me.
And it's not really over water. It's over just like a valley. I mean, there is a little creek, but it's not like over a bay or something like that. It's just
no, it's a drop.
In between two mountains.
And all over the bridge if you walk on the bridge, which I was not brave enough to walk across that bridge because
I was wondering, you didn't walk across it?
I got about 2 feet onto it, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing this.
Me and Sean stopped and walked across it, and I was like, did Cheney walk across this bridge?
No, but you and Travis and Tim did.
Yeah.
Was Tim with us?
Yeah.
And maybe Phallus?
Definitely.
I think Phallus was there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Phallus is a person, by the way. Everybody.
Yeah, Mike Phallus, he was our merch guy who we've talked about before because he's the infamous guy who stole my treats at Heavy Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Right. So Phallus was with us, but I've known Phallus since he's from Iowa. I've known him forever. But anyway, at this bridge, it's actually really sad because if you walk onto that tallest bridge in California, there are, I guess it's like suicide pamphlets, right? Like don't and they're
not really. That's a way more official way of putting it.
Well, there are memorials.
It's just like people put up little notes, and
like
zip tied them on there, like
don't do it.
Don't do it. You know, give me a call, and it's got their number.
Yeah.
Jesus loves you. That type of stuff.
That's rough. That's
I know.
Rough
Sean and I were like, I wonder how many people have to jump to put the notes up.
Yeah.
I was saying one. Since it's a small town.
Yeah.
Maybe one person did it, and then.
That's very true. I mean, one person could do it, and all of their friends rallied together to put the notes up. But I remember, like, a few weeks after it was probably a couple months after we went, I did acid. I had taken a picture of the bridge, of the notes, and just the height. And I had done acid, and I was looking through my photos, and I came across that picture, and it was just, like, really...
Freaked you the fuck out?
It didn't freak me out, but it just was one of those reminders of how fragile life is.
Wait, you just casually were like, oh yeah, I was doing acid, and looked at the picture.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, like to a lot of people, doing acid is like a big deal. It's not just like, oh, I was on acid the other day. And
oh no, I mean, my like acid trips are well planned out.
Yeah, I know.
It was just a day that I had planned out. It's not like I'm doing acid all the time.
I'm saying you said it like you were like, yeah, I was drinking coffee the other day.
Yeah, no. I had planned out this day because I
think it was when I went to the men's thing.
Yeah, I think so. So once or twice a year, I'll do acid as a reset. And this happened to be one of those days.
Yeah.
And I came across the picture, and it was just it was one of those reminders that you get when you do something like that of how fragile life is and how not to take any of it for granted.
True that.
But anyway, on a better note, you drinking at the
So I did drink a little bit. I had I think I had about 3 White Claws.
Oh, you had White Claws?
Yeah, I think I had 3 White Claws, and I know I had about 2 Coors Lights and maybe 1 to 2 other beers over the weekend.
Like during the day?
Yeah.
And how was it?
It's not that cool.
Yeah.
It's not really that cool.
I wonder if it was just like the setting.
That wasn't that cool.
Yeah, maybe you just weren't having that good of a time.
Yeah, I think I was kind of being a little bit of a downer just the whole time anyway. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't really in a social mood.
Why?
I don't know. I found myself just not being that social lately. Just kind of wanting to be on my own.
I know what you mean. I like to do that.
Yeah. Not have to talk or anything. You know, I don't really like it. What's odd is I don't really like talking about myself to people that don't know me that well.
Yeah, because it's hard to get past that surface level conversation of, oh, what do you do? What's that like? Especially if you're not like, I don't know who you go to this camp out with. I don't know any of the guys except for obviously your family. But if you have nothing to relate on.
Yeah.
Like if they're, I don't know. I know what you mean about this type of
Well, it's more like I'll be like yeah, I have a job and do music.
Yeah.
But I'm not the type of guy to be like braggadocious.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of just take it as like, okay, yeah, of course, everybody plays music, whatever. It's like long hair guy.
Totally.
But I don't know. It doesn't really like bug me or anything. It's just like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, 2 years ago we flew to Mexico and we were on the plane with Alice Cooper and we saw Kiss and my friend went on stage with Limp Bizkit and, you know,
Sometimes those stories are fun to
that
tell.
sounds cool, but it would take a lot to get me into a space where I would actually say that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like even on the podcast, I don't do that. I'm not sitting here around going,
You just did.
oh, I did it as a joke.
But it's true.
It is true, but what I'm saying is I don't even really name drop or like brag on the podcast.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not really my thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it kind of just goes without saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not good at like...
Humble brag.
I'm really good at making fun of myself bragging.
Totally.
But that doesn't work if you don't already know about me.
Right. I know.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Like I'll make joke brags all the time. I do that on the podcast all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's telling me like, you know, oh, Naveen, you're so sick. You know, I'll be like, oh yeah, I like the way this conversation's going. That kind of stuff, you know, I'll make jokes about it. But I'm not the great at just to a stranger being like, yeah, relaying what I'm all about.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
So you were bored.
I don't know if I was bored, because I don't really get bored. I was just
Yeah, totally.
like at one point, it was, let's see, it was kind of like getting later, like 11:30, and I was kind of like, you know what, there's just nothing else for me to do here, and I just like went in my van and started reading a book.
Well, that's kind of what I mean.
Which is kind of weird.
It seems like you're bored with the situation. So you
Yeah,
changed.
bit,
You changed the situation.
Yeah, because
That's cool.
I guess if you're not gonna, I don't know. Like for me, if I'm not gonna like rage it, you know, I think I just get kind of not bored, but I'd rather just do something on my own.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like to like party with my friends. I don't know if I would be like on a trip with a bunch of people that I don't know. Like,
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I'm
But I don't
definitely,
really go
I
on
go
trips like
every
that.
year. I mean, I know
Yeah.
the people to an extent.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I like to talk about stuff that's just a little one notch deeper than when you meet somebody.
Yeah, you don't like small talk.
I guess I don't like small
You
talk.
don't,
No,
for sure.
I don't.
I definitely think that's a thing for you.
Like I'll just be kind
That
of
kind
silent.
of is for me too.
you know?
I get bored with small talk. Like I'm good at bullshitting small talk, but once the well has run dry, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Like the first
what do we
night,
talk about now?
I had like a really good question for my dad, you know, because my dad's into science and all sorts of stuff. So I'm always thinking like my dad's more he's gone the way of like kind of materialist reductionist type person, or so he claims, right?
Well, yeah, but he's also someone who was once very spiritual.
Yeah. So he was really, really spiritual. He lived in a temple for 10 years as a Hare Krishna monk, I guess you could call it.
Are they called Hare Krishnas or are they called devotees?
They're called Vaishnavas,
Vaishnavs. Okay, I've heard that word.
but that's like the official term.
All people, both genders, it's just neutral Vaishnav.
Yeah, they're just Vaishnava. Well, they're actually a certain lineage of Vaishnavas.
Which is derived from
There's
what?
Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
What does that mean?
It's so a Vaishnava is somebody who worships Vishnu,
Mm-hmm.
and Gaudiya has to do with whose lineage it is.
Okay, gotcha.
So they follow somebody. It's like a 500-year-old lineage. It's sort of a newer one.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what my dad came from that background. When he was like 18 to 28, he was living in a temple. That's how my mom and him met each other. That's why my name's Naveen. You know, so it has a lot to do, shape my life. But my dad sort of got into other things. You know, he is his own person. He's one of a kind. That's what we'll call him.
For sure.
Likes to debate. Animated guy.
Very.
So I'm somewhat spiritual, not in the same way that he was, but I mean, spiritual, what does that even mean? You know, I think it means diving into the truth of reality, right? That's what I would call it, something like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's how I've heard it be put in a way that I thought was cool. So I'm kind of always like challenging him on a really simple level.
Yeah, because you guys, you love to do that with him.
Yeah.
You guys love to do that.
Yeah. So,
you and your brothers and your dad love to do that with each other.
Yeah. So that's, to me, fun. You know, I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So on the first night, I was like, I got a really good question for my dad. You know, I was like, all right, Dad. You know, because he'll bring stuff back to the Big Bang, you know, the Big Bang, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, okay, well, my question was, is space assumed for the Big Bang, or does space come out of the Big Bang? Because that's how I was going to get him. I was going to be like, well, if space was there, something was there. So something didn't come from nothing. But I still got him anyway in the end.
How did you get him? Because I sent you a video because you had talked to me about it.
Well, that's kind of where we wound up before you sent me that video.
That it's circular.
Yeah, so space is not assumed for the Big Bang.
Right.
It's a part of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
But then I asked him, okay, well, is reality assumed? Right? So if there's something, even if it's really small or infinitesimal, a huge amount of energy concentrated into some form or space, then reality is assumed. There has to be a ground for that to exist, right? Mm-hmm. Existence is assumed.
Yeah.
So he'll like combat me on a technical term, right? So what I do is I pull up my dictionary.
Semantics.
Yeah. So I'm like, cool, I got a dictionary in hand. And so what I do is I look up the words and I say, all right, in the truest sense of this word, it means this. Like, for instance, real, you know, is something real.
Yeah.
And if you look up the word real, it means something that has autonomy. It's like an autonomous something, an autonomous thing. And then, you know, but you could really pull that apart. You know, like you said, I'm a semantics guy.
Well, yeah. I wasn't referring to you for the record. I was referring to your dad, so but you both are.
You could totally pull that apart and just be like, well, what does that? Nothing is autonomous in this relative world.
Yeah.
Because everything is like my body. You could say, oh yeah, own my own body, right? But there's no body without air. There's no body without the elements. There's a million things. Like, I don't even have control over my own bodily functions. You know? Like, your mind doesn't do it. It just is happening.
Right.
So how autonomous really are you? So how real are you really in the truest sense of the word? So anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I was throwing at my dad.
Yeah, and further, I pulled this up because I just happened to come across this at like 4:00 in the morning on Sunday while you were gone. And we had been talking about it. So if anyone is interested in this, the video that I sent to Naveen is called Before the Big Bang 7, An Eternal Cyclic Universe, CCC Revisited and Twistor Theory. Yeah. And it's a really well put together, like hour-long documentary that explains exactly the question that you came up with, which is that it's this theory is that it's cyclic.
Right. Yeah, I got to check that out. I got to definitely look at that because it seems like in that the theory is that it's contracted down and expanding outward and contracting down. Exactly. Which would make more sense in my mind. And that's sort of how it is explained in Eastern religions that it is a cycle, you know?
Right.
So that would sort of make sense in my mind.
Yeah, are you talking about the universe is explained as a cycle?
Yeah.
Or life and death?
No, the universe.
Okay, got you.
All universes, there's multiple universes.
Right.
And that stuff. So yeah, they're created and they exist for a while and then they're destroyed ultimately. And it goes over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's that philosophy. Yeah. I'm not saying what Naveen
that's
thinks.
true.
I'm not saying
Right.
what Naveen thinks.
Right. Okay.
Naveen doesn't think very much because I have been actually thinking lately, you read about so much stuff these days, and this can apply to spiritual stuff or the real world, whatever you want to call it. But really, I've been trying to think of it more as there is no difference between any of it. And what you should do is stick to what you actually know to be true in all facets of life. Because how often are people just saying stuff that they kind of know?
Right. Which is, I've always sort of seen myself as more of a gatherer of information than someone who is a super stickler of any particular thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
I'm really neutral in a lot of aspects, and it's because I like to hear all sides of the story. Some would say that it's because I'm a Libra.
Okay.
We search for neutrality. Some would completely disagree with horoscopes, period. But I'm the type of person who I want to know all information from all things and just sort of weigh it out. But I don't refuse to learn about anything.
I think that's the best way to be, for sure.
I totally agree.
But even beyond that, I think as you are gathering your information, and maybe there's stuff that we want to be true, but how much actual experience do you have with it? Or genuine insight?
Yeah, most people are dilettantes of most things. Which a dilettante is someone who knows just enough information to sort of skirt inside of the subject, but they're not really a master. It's master of none.
Totally. And I mean, we do that all the time.
Of course.
I think, but I think that's an egoistic type of behavior. Because you don't want to look like you don't know something.
Yeah, which is why it's hard for a lot of people to have actual discussions in real life without and have their mind changed.
Totally.
Because they don't want to admit that they're wrong about something or that they don't really know that much about it.
I totally agree. And then on top of that, when you have a genuine insight or a genuine understanding of something, when somebody says something that goes against it, you're not really triggered or threatened. But you have such a nice, genuine understanding of it that you can explain it in different ways.
Yeah, I would say
to make it so it makes sense to that person.
Yeah, you're very keen on the subject.
Exactly. Yeah, not just strictly in a philosophical or a mental way. For instance, if you just break it down to 2 + 2, I know that 2 + 2 is 4. And if somebody comes up to me and they're like, it's not 4, I'm not going to be triggered. There's nothing. I can just say, well, you probably don't understand what I'm saying then.
Yeah.
And here's another way to put it. I got 2 over here, 2 over there. Check it out. It's 4. That kind of a thing. That's obviously way simplistic.
Yeah.
But when you have that genuine connection with something, you're not threatened by what someone else says. You get threatened when you're not really sure of something.
Yeah.
And then your beliefs are now all on shaky ground and you go, no, I got to fight this. insecurity.
Yeah, which is also why I think it's important to not only know everything about what you're fighting for, but know everything about what you're arguing against. Like, it's really important to, in a debate, or if you do want to have that type of discussion with people, you know every way they're going to come at you. So you have an explanation for everything they're going to say. That's how you have an airtight defense.
Totally.
It's like boxing, fighting. You have to be able to analyze every single move that's coming for you so that you know exactly how to react to that move.
Yeah. That's if you want to be a master debater.
Well, that's like a conversationalist, though. It's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I am talking about that, but also, well, I guess I definitely do that because I do that to my dad all the time. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is I've sort of been having a...
Oh my God, could you just hear me crack my neck in the microphone?
No.
Whoa. That was just...
Nice
That was
crack.
a splendid neck cracking. Though I've heard that you can actually give yourself a stroke from cracking your neck.
Really?
Is it a stroke?
Might
be a stroke.
I don't think so. Seizure?
I don't know, but I'm addicted to cracking my neck and my back.
Yeah, I don't know.
And my fingers. My mom used to torture me and crack my toes. And now I do it to you.
Yeah, but I don't let you do it. I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah.
But to conclude our deep part of the podcast.
Deep thoughts.
That's kind of how it goes. We have like a deep part and then it just kind of like levels out.
And then we do. Yeah, that's true.
But I actually really want to say this because it's been something that's been helping me out a lot. And it's, you question yourself. And it's like, why do I think that? That's all right. Yeah. And if you stick with the truth, you'll feel really comfortable.
Well, isn't that in everything in life? I mean, if you're sticking with the truth.
I know, but being truthful with yourself, that's like actually harder than just being outwardly truthful.
Well, because I think that there are also a lot of easy distractions in this world to not be honest with yourself.
Yeah, or you see other people can have a really deep, meaningful truth in their life, right? Like maybe, let's say you're a mathematician, right? We'll stick with math.
But math is so mathematical.
I know, but people that are really into math, it's like they have like realizations in math.
That's what was blowing my mind about the video that I referenced earlier. I was just watching these scientists speak, and their thoughts were so mathematically centric.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, these people just sit around and it's just equation after equation in their head constantly.
But it means something deeper than it does to me. And I might see those people and be like, wow, I want to be like those guys, or maybe come off like one of those guys. So I could surface level learn enough to maybe pass by, right? But that's going to fall apart when I'm challenged.
Yeah, of course.
In a way where I might get frustrated, I might get angry, because I have nothing else to resort to. But if it's a genuine realization that has settled into your body, right? You're not going to feel threatened. Like if someone's like, oh, drumming is like stupid or whatever, I'm going to be like, yeah, I could actually relate, I could relate my experience of drumming since I've done it for so long and since it's so ingrained in me.
Yeah.
I can relate it to like anyone's experience or anything that they have to say about it. It's not just one thing, or it's not just me copying what someone else said about drumming.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't hold up, I get mad. So I guess what I'm saying is you got to be genuine and honest about where you're at in life.
Yeah.
About everything. And that is a kick in the balls, though, because we all want to be super smart and look awesome all the time.
Yeah. That's a part of what is cool about smoking weed. I do think that there is a part of weed that makes you reflect on the things that you are.
Right. I think to the adverse extent, though.
For some people.
Like sometimes when I used to smoke weed, I'd be like, tripping about something.
Of course.
And then I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm just like really stoned.
I've said of course like 500 times in this podcast, but I'm agreeing with you a lot today, Naveen. But I know what you mean. However, like anything else, I think we were saying this on a podcast, everything in moderation. It's like you do, even with weed, you can sort of measure like where you get to that point. If you're an experienced enough
using weed. But okay, so I'm going to end the deep stuff with, wouldn't it be cool if people gave us like really hard questions to answer that were like a little bit more philosophical and we had to like do a little bit of homework?
Sometimes they do.
Challenge me.
Send us some like...
Challenge me.
Yeah. Send us some challenging questions.
And we'll make up some answers, fuck it.
I mean, on the real though, it is cool. It's awesome talking about music and talking about everything.
Obviously.
So...
Oh, wait, I think I just said obviously.
Of course.
Of course. That's what it is. Is that the episode title?
Of course.
All right, so should we dip into these questions? These are the real get into the stuff?
Yeah, let's get into the questions.
All right. You want me to read you one first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Cheney, this is for you. Dylan Durrell. I hope I'm saying that right.
I think it's a Dalen. Dalen.
Oh, Dalon. Dalon Durrell. I hope he's okay with us using his name.
That's I'm taking Instagram names.
Okay.
So he's got it on his
he
or she. I don't know. I think it's a man. I don't know.
Well, my real name's on Instagram, so favorite coffee roast.
So is mine.
Cheney, expand.
Espresso.
Oh.
Of course.
Is that a roast type? Is that how that works?
I think so. Other than that, I've heard that light roasts are the most caffeinated, so I always go for like that. That's really what I'm looking for.
Really? I just like the flavor of the dark
How hype
roast.
am I going to get? I like the flavor of the dark roast too. I am a black coffee drinker, so no cream for me. I think that's...
So why do you do that? Is that like just to like prove that you're hard type of a thing, or?
No, it's... Because I'm Italian, it's just, it runs through my blood.
I think in Italy they put cream in there. They make lattes and cappuccinos.
An espresso? No, they don't. I mean, you put sugar in it if you want, but espresso, I'm trying to drink that straight. But anyway, it's not because of that. It's really because of when I was intermittent fasting. And, you know,
used to it.
Yeah, when you cut calories out of your diet, like the 50 or 100 calories that you'll put in your coffee in the morning, that's an easy like thing to eliminate.
That's true. So then you just started liking the way that it tastes, or what?
I love the way it tastes because you really get to experience the coffee if you drink it black. If you drink it with cream and a lot of sugar in it,
then you're Naveen.
Then you're drinking cream and sugar. With a hint of coffee. However, I did request, my birthday is in a month, and I did request an espresso machine with a steamed milker.
I promptly forgot about that.
Yeah, I know.
Until you just reminded me.
That's like boyfriend shit.
I was like, yeah, that would be really cool, and then haven't thought about it since.
You could order it right now.
Like, let's just pause the podcast.
Yeah. It's worth it.
I mean, if I'm going to buy something, I want to buy. I'm more on the thing where we want to buy the best one, or not the best one,
we're buying
but
the best one.
A good one.
No, we're buying a really good one. I want like a $400 one, $500 one.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that's a good one though. For $500.
I will go and read reviews.
It's got to be chrome in appearance.
Yeah, totally, or gold.
No, it's got to be chrome.
Gold would be.
Even though it's your birthday gift, I'm deciding that it needs to be chrome.
Yeah, you're like, no, chrome. All right, so there's that.
All right. Coffee is so much better with cream in it.
You know what would be better is if I could make coffee art.
True.
With my steamed milk.
With oat milk. Dude, oat milk is legit.
Oat milk.
The barista blend.
Oat milk is so good.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
What else is really good? So I've been doing silk heavy cream.
Oh, that stuff's really good.
So for anybody, since Shane and I have gone vegan again, I've definitely made a huge attempt to mention it on every single episode because
I
that's
think
what you
you're
have to do when you go
5
vegan.
for 5 now, Naveen.
Yeah.
Good job.
So since Shani and I are vegan
Twice in
Yeah.
one episode.
Again.
Nice.
I've been looking for a heavy cream replacement because that's what I like to drink in my coffee.
You have not been looking anywhere. I got the silk
Yeah,
replacement.
that does not sound as cool on the podcast.
I got it.
Okay, Cheney showed up with some silk heavy cream.
I saw it at the grocery store.
and it's
And I was like, we need to try this.
because we love heavy cream, or loved. We don't love it anymore. We love the taste of it, but we don't love the implications.
Oh my God.
But silk heavy
Next
cream
week
is
you're
like
going to be eating a hamburger on the
No.
episode. Hey, everyone.
no.
crap.
I declared when COVID started that
No,
I was
we're
never
just
going to eat meat again
we're
for the
just
rest of my life,
messing around.
and I've stayed true to it
True.
for this portion of my life
True.
so far.
Mm.
But yeah, silk heavy cream, solid,
It's a
solid,
solid
rock
8,
solid.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, rock
Someone is for sure going to come along and dethrone them because I feel like they're really one of the first companies to venture into this
They're the only one who makes it.
endeavor. And, you know, we all know what happened to Boca. We all know what happened to Boca Burgers. They
got
used to-
destroyed.
Boca used to
Low cut.
lace everyone. Tell the story.
Oh, low cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Animosity, we used to go to Denny's a lot, and we would all get Boca Burgers because they had those there. And like one night, it was really late or something. I don't even know. I don't know where we were. Some small place. And Evan was like, "All right, yeah, I'll get a." To the waitress, like, "I'll get a Boca Burger," and she's like, "Low cut." Low cut burger, man, what's that? And then and then he's like, "No, it's on the menu. It's a Boca Burger." And she's like, "Oh, okay, all right." And then I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have one of those too." And she's like, "Okay, low cut too. You want low cut?" All right.
No.
I swear, dude, it became. I'm still telling the
Yeah,
joke.
no, I tell the joke.
Yeah.
I tell it all. Because you guys, every time we would go to a Denny's, you guys would tell the low cut story. So it's basically, there are a lot of
look at the low
stories
cut.
like that, though, that happened elsewhere that because they were told so many times around me, I'm like, okay, that's my story now.
Also, like I'm just at that point. Boca Burgers are now just called low cut burgers. That's what they're called forever.
Yeah, it's how.
That was probably 15 years ago.
What are some other tour things? Like Denny's is called Leonard's because of
I
Lenny's.
named it Leonard's though.
Denny's.
I think
Denny's went to Leonard's. No, it went to Lenny's.
because
And then it's Leonard's.
I heard that old people would call it Lenny's. That was like I don't know because there was a commercial. That's actually no. There was a commercial back in the day when I was a kid, and they were like Denny's, Lenny's. I don't know, you know.
What?
It was like one of those good old time commercials, like
Yeah,
two
okay.
old ladies getting together at Denny's, and they were like laughing, calling it Lenny's.
For sure.
And then this is how I'm remembering it. I don't know if it's true or not. Then I was like, "Oh, Lenny's. That's funny. I'm gonna start calling it Leonard's."
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure that's what we always called it.
Okay. And then Starbucks is fucks.
Yeah, fucks. That's Starbucks.
What are other things? McDonald's is
Dicks.
Is dicks.
Because it became Dick Monald's.
Dick Monald's.
That must have been one of the first spoonerisms that I've ever heard.
Dick Monald's.
Yeah. And then let's see what else. Wally World, but that's like a big,
Yeah.
that's a
Well,
popular one.
Is there another one
Or
for
Wallbox,
Walmart?
but that's just
Wallbox.
from South Park. It's not that funny.
Yeah, I can't really think of any others right now, but there are a lot. Tour language is just like, that's the thing. You come home and it's basically like you speak like an alien after you get off of tour because every tour inevitably has like
A million jokes.
a million jokes.
That's what they mentioned in that Anthony Bourdain documentary that we were watching. They
Yeah.
referenced when a band goes on tour, they have all these jokes and all this insider stuff, and they're totally in sync with each other.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
For us, it's a weird experience or a different experience because we go on tour together. And then when we get back, we like carry it into real life.
True.
Which I'm sure is, I mean, we've been there as well. You know, we've both been on tour without the other person. I did that systems tour, and you obviously were in animals and all of that stuff. So we've gone on tours, and one of us has come back and the other person doesn't know what is going on.
True that.
That's a weird thing.
I know. Must be really weird.
Living on tour is sort of like living a second life. I mean,
100%, especially if it's depending on how normal your home life is.
Right.
Seems like that could get real weird.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, it's a weird thing when you get home because your home life is similar to tour. And that can get weird, you know, if you're drinking too much or if you're just like trying to do that all the time. And then on the flip side, you know, if your home life is totally normal and you're someone who really goes at it on tour, that could be weird. Some people have like a home life that's pretty normal and a tour life that's pretty chill.
Some people, who are they? BT Bam?
BT Bam. I mean, I do think that there is a thing where like if a band doesn't have those hard partying antics, then they do sort of stay together longer.
It's better. It's better to do that.
It's something that, you know, we have on a lot of tours tried to embody that. You know, BT Bam is BT Bail. I think they made that up, right?
Yeah, they made that
because
up.
they don't like stick around and party and because
I think somewhere in between would probably be the best.
I agree.
So
which
nice down the center.
I think we lay in there most of the time.
Most of the time, for
there
sure.
are a few tours that have gotten a little crazy.
That's true.
Like the European tour specifically. Well, it was honestly Summer Slaughter into the European tour.
Yeah, Summer Slaughter, probably a little too much White Claws for your boy.
Dude. The thing about Summer Slaughter for us, though, was that we were rotating with Surreption for first and second spot, and then Surreption left the tour, and we were opening every night.
Yeah, so we're like done at 3.
We're done at 3, and then we're we had a cooler. We would take White Claws. We had like a
Easy Up.
an Easy Up, so everyone would chill under our Easy Up all night, and we'd just like
we had a good thing going.
Drink and chill.
We had a good thing going. That was fun. That was actually really fun. I look back on that tour.
That was so fun.
Fondly.
I mean, so was the European tour. It was so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get a little crazy. And then it can be the flip side, because when we went on the last real tour that we did with Rivers and Wolf King and Conjurer, we were super sober that entire tour.
Very true. Very true.
So,
because I was trying to be muscle man.
Me too. And we were going to Planet Fitness every day. We had a really good regimen going.
So once again, I think in between all 3 of those would be the best.
I think so too. Agreed. I don't know how the fuck we got on that subject, but
wait, the question was favorite coffee roast.
Yeah.
Well, that's our favorite coffee roast.
Is keeping it in moderation.
Here,
I'm gonna ask this one. All right, Jerry Guzman, super sick photographer. Check his.
I'm pretty sure we already answered this question, but we're gonna do it again.
We 100% did not answer this question.
Pretty sure we already did, but we'll 100% answer it a second time for those of you who missed it.
We didn't. Someone left a comment about buying merch, and the Napalm Death merch guy at a show was a jerk, in their words. Thought it'd be cool to hear you and Cheney's point on that if you two have ever come across a rude merch guy or gal. He sent this to Naveen.
Yeah, I've never, well, I don't know. Back in my day, I'm a little older, the merch guy it was just a given that they were going to be a jerk.
I was going to say.
That's the deal.
This is how I know we haven't answered it, because I've been like thinking on this question for a few weeks.
Yeah.
What people don't probably realize about bands and merch guys is that you kind of almost aim for someone who's sort of mean sometimes.
Yeah, because you want someone who like doesn't drink, who's just like sitting there, they're kind of mean. kind of mad. They're just keeping an eye on the merch. They're not afraid to like punch someone if they try to steal something, you know?
We've always, since the beginning of our band, we were like, if we could just nail down like a straight edge.
That's what we want.
Jerk.
That would be the best.
Asshole guy who's
That's
like,
the best guy to
like
have.
maybe a crew member.
Yeah.
Who's like maybe down to beat ass.
That's the best guy to have back there because they don't give a fuck, and they're just they're keeping an eye on shit,
and they're
not like impressed by all this bull.
They don't think drunk guys are cute. If a drunk guy, like, you know, there are a lot of rules to the merch table. One is don't set your drink on the fucking merch table because here's what happens. Most of the time, it works out fine, but one time out of the 20 times that a drink is on the table, the drink gets knocked over by another drunk person, and then it's all over a bunch of merch, and then you lose like $80 from the table merch.
Yeah, exactly. It's covered in beer. It smells like a bum.
Yeah. Here's something that happened to me. A person literally did not say anything to me and picked me up, grabbed me and picked me up at a show. Because I'm a small statured person, so maybe I look like I would be fun to pick up. I don't know what. You know, I wasn't mad at him, but the only person who could see that happening was our merch guy. Yeah. So in that situation, what do I want to happen?
The guy who's like, "Oh, look at that!" Ha! Or like the guy
who's
like
a badass and intimidating.
Yeah, and another thing, it's like, you know, they have to deal with a lot of people who are shot.
They really do.
Yeah, let's be real here.
There are so many drunk people.
A lot of drunk people. Drunk people
guys.
Fucking suck, dude.
Unless you are also drunk.
Even then, still kind of pushing it.
Yeah, because you know, you're probably a cool drunk. If you're listening to this show, you're probably not.
We're cool. All of us in the crowd, this huge audience that listens to our podcast and us, you know, we're good to go.
Chill.
But these other people, I don't know about them. They're weird.
I mean, there are just a lot of things to deal with being a merch guy. You're the person who has to settle at the end of the night. Sometimes you're dealing with like a promoter you've never met before who's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, so who do you want back there? You want like Mr. Nice Guy, smiley face, or do you want dude back there who's like, fuck this guy?
Yeah. Or, you know what happens at the merch table? Sometimes people will come up to the merch table and say, hey, like, I'm going to put you guys on our radio show and do all this shit for you. Can you give me like $80 free of merch?
Yeah.
And you want someone back there. You don't want me who's nice and who's going to be like, yeah, dude, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You want a badass who's going to be like,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Go away. Get away.
I guess what we're saying is, yeah, we've encountered merch guys who are less than cordial.
They're dealing with a shitload of money, though.
They're back there on purpose.
Yeah, they're placed there strategically because they're handling all of the band's money, which can be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Hundreds and tens of dollars.
And sometimes none.
Tens and 20s of dollars.
Pennies. But, you know, they're dealing with money. They're settling. There are a lot of times, like, the person who's there at the show, they could be at a really crowded show. They could have had to count in a shitload of merch that day. If you're the merch guy, you're carrying in all the merch. You're already mad that you had to set up in the heat.
You're sleeping in a van, too.
You're sleeping in a van. And
you don't
best get to case scenario, you're sleeping in a bumpy bus.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, no matter how luxurious you get on the road, you're not sleeping in a bed. Okay, you're not sleeping in a bed that you're like just peacefully sleeping.
I
and
sleep
not
real
moving.
peaceful on a bus, no problem, dude. Sleepy. I'm camped in.
I'm okay on a bus. My last bunk that I was in had a window in it, and we were in Europe. And some days I would wake up in my bunk and I was hungover, and I would be looking out the window off of a mountain.
Oh, so you're freaked the fuck out.
So I was freaked out.
You should have gave me the window.
I'm not like, it's just, you're never going to be completely at ease if you're in a moving vehicle when you're sleeping.
There's always something like, all right, are we about to die? We're going to die?
If someone woke you up that day and said, everyone has to load out right now because the bus is parking 3 miles away and we're not going to be able to get to it until later tonight.
Yeah, actually happened, by the way.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
New York, you can't park a bus in front of the venue you're playing in New York.
Fuck.
Maybe
Parking
they're
in fucking New Jersey. and
You park it in New Jersey. And you have to do, what's that called? Why can't I think of what it's called?
Uber?
No, like the unloading.
Unloading.
No.
Load out.
No, babe.
Load in.
No, when you don't get to go back to the bus.
Drop and go?
Drop and go. One time we had to do that in Spain. No, Portugal. Which is one of the most beautiful cities ever. We had port
The thing is, if
line.
that didn't happen, then we wouldn't have this funny story.
We wouldn't have the story, but we had to do a drop and go. Our bus driver would not drive up the hill that the venue was on because he was afraid of it bottoming out.
I don't know, but and when I got up to the quote unquote hill, I was like, "Fucking Europeans, man! Seriously, like you think that's a hill?
Yeah,
like San Francisco, it's like that, and they're parking buses on it.
Right?
It's like seriously, dude. Like I could ride a unicycle up that hill.
Yeah, 1 million people had gone up that hill.
Yeah, and then you know what the funny part was?
Venue.
The hilarious, ironic part was he picked us up on the hill.
Yeah,
after the show was over.
He got a clapping welcoming committee by the entire tour package because we were all drunk.
Yeah.
And we were all like, yeah, dude, you can make it up the hill.
Yeah.
He made such a huge deal about it, and we had to load in from about a half a mile away.
No, it was like a 15-minute walk, so I don't know.
Up a hill.
With all of our gear.
With all of our gear. It was every person grabbing pieces of gear and running back and running.
You know what's funny?
This is why people are pissed when you see them at the merch table. Okay.
At this point in time, though, I'm thinking that's pretty sweet. Like, we got to play a show in Portugal.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, I can't even halfway be mad about that at all.
Also,
you know what I mean? Like, I've been home for 2 years. It's like,
I know.
That sounds sick. I would definitely do that right now.
We went to an amazing antique shop, and we had port wine, which is my favorite wine in the entire world. We had 2 kinds of port wine.
That was killer.
We bought like 5 grams of hash for $10.
There you go.
And we went on a crazy like sightseeing tour with our sound guy and our band.
That was really fun.
That was so fun. I mean, our band has done one European tour, and we just got so lucky with the bands that we went with that we were all just like homies.
It was beyond creation.
And Gorod.
And brought by pain.
And
it was really fun.
Oh, man. It was so fun. It was so fun because we all were, Julian, who's the vocalist of Gorod, I think he was an art history major. So he knew a lot about everything going on in every city that we went to because they're all super historical. And he knew so he would take us through cities. He knew guides in cities, and we would go on like sightseeing tours before we played shows. I remember, what's the name of that city? No, we did it in Prague, but we did it in that really small town.
Yeah, where was
where
that?
we went to like a goth nightclub.
Yeah,
dance
that place
party.
was fucking sick. That town rules.
Yeah,
it's called
Dragons. It starts with an L.
Okay.
And we went up to the castle.
I don't know how to say it. I have the word in my head, though.
What is that? How is it spelled?
It's like Ljubljana or something like that.
LeBlanc. Oh, man. I was asking everyone how to say it. LeBlanc.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Let me look it up.
I think it's like LJ.
Ljubljana.
Ljubljana.
God, we suck right now. I got it right here. Capital of Slovenia.
Yeah. That's where it was because you had played that festival.
Ljubljana.
That
place is really fucking sick.
Man, that was one of the best nights on that tour, which was full of fantastic nights.
Oh, I think I can play it. Ljubljana. Can you
Ljubljana. Ljubljana. Which Ljubljana. Ljubljana. I asked so many people how to pronounce that before we went on stage that night. That was a fun show, but that night we did a drop and go as well.
Oh, okay.
But we went to that super sick, like, historical art. It was just like a gathering of artists, and there was a nightclub there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing super gothed out music, and we just went and drank.
And we trekked that hill that was historical.
God,
There's a monument.
I missed tour. I think I missed tour.
Yeah.
Shit.
I do and I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of like a homebody now. I mean, we always were, but now I'm really.
I'm a homebody as well, but I do like traveling. Like, we're going to see Earth Crisis and Buried Alive in Philly in October.
We're going to fly out.
We're flying out.
So if anybody wants to hang, you hit us up.
Yeah, we'll probably be in Philadelphia for a week.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to hang out, show us around, get a drink.
We're going to go to Blackbird.
Go to the show. We're going to Blackbird. You better believe it.
Yeah, you better believe it.
All right, next question. Popeye Joe says, Naveen, how did you get approached to record for other bands? Whitechapel, Job for a Cowboy, Machine Head.
Well, for Job for a Cowboy, I've just known Johnny for a really long time. And they asked me to play on the new album. And I said
Who
yes.
else is in that band? Besides Nick.
The guitar player is Tony. I don't really know him that well. I've only met him like once. And then they have another guitarist.
Who you don't know?
I do know him. I don't think you know.
Okay.
You definitely don't know.
Word. Has he been in the band for a long time?
Yeah, he's been in the band for a while.
What's his name?
It's just, it eludes me right now.
Okay. Fair.
But they just asked me to do it, and I did it. And the same with Whitechapel. I guess maybe what he's wanting to know is how can he do gigs like that?
I think he's wanting to know is like did they obviously they asked you, but why did they ask you? Why would they choose you?
It's pretty obvious why they would choose me and ask me, I think.
I'm personally trying to find someone else to play in my band, so I can't understand. I'm just kidding.
I guess. So with JFAC, I've just had a long relationship with Johnny and those guys, and they were making a new album for whatever. I don't actually know why their old drummer didn't want to do it, but they had Danny on the last album.
Danny Walker.
Yeah, and then they just said they came to their senses and they were like, "Hey, Naveen, let's have you do it." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it, obviously."
Well, another thing that happens is that when you don't
That wasn't a diss to Danny, by the way. I was just making a joke.
No, but when you don't have like a permanent musician on your music, how we don't have a permanent bass player, however we did choose a bass player to play on our record. Yeah. You can kind of like, if you can hire someone, then you sort of have your pick of who you want to hire. That's true. And they wanted to hire Naveen.
True that. And then Whitechapel was Entheos opened for Whitechapel on a tour. And once again, became kind of friendly with the band. And they just liked my drumming and me as a dude. It helps to be like a chill person.
That's true.
You know, I'm not like the type of guy who's trying to like network or like be that type of person. I'm not like, you guys ever need a studio drummer? You call me up, man. You know, like I'm not like that at all.
Well, another thing that helps though is being like a super solid player, because there is a difference, and I don't know if people know this really, but there is a difference between being like a solid player in a live setting and having learned material and playing songs that already exist, and being the person in a studio who's kind of like creating the drums for another band. Yeah. You're very good if you're doing a part that's like a Naveen part and they're like, nah, we want a more straightforward beat for that, you can change it up very quickly and you can play it. You can play it in a very solid way, so no one's going to like waste money hiring you. Yeah. Because it's okay to not really be a studio musician. There are people who are not really studio musicians. It's nothing against them. It's just, that's just how it is. Some people are better in a live situation. And you're a really good studio musician. You're also really good live, but you're a really solid player in a studio, and money is like a factor in these things.
I haven't really thought about it like that.
So
that's true.
The fact that you can kind of go in and nail things.
I can lay it down in the studio.
Yeah.
Get that shit going.
That's why it's like we'll talk about sometimes we've done we took more time on drums in the studio. There were 5 days for the record that we'll put out next year. But before this time, you've only done 2 days in the studio. But it's because you just are good at nailing things right away. I think this time we just took more time like experimenting with things.
Yeah. We took our time more.
But you like if you are commanded to go into a studio for 2 days and like nail 10 songs, you can easily do that.
Yeah. I mean, with JFAC and Whitechapel, I think I was probably like 8 working days.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, both of those sessions I went in there like pretty much totally cold. You know, I didn't have anything rehearsed at all.
Did you know the music when you went in?
I'd listened to it a bit, but really not. If the guys in the band knew how much I actually listened to it, they'd probably be like, wow, I can't believe we hired this guy.
Yeah. Well, for Machine Head, did you know those songs?
But I got sent them like a couple days before the session, so I don't feel so bad about that one.
See, that's the thing. You do have to be a quick learner.
Yeah. And then Machine Head, I've done a couple sessions with them, and that was more of the connect with Zach, who works with them, their engineer. And he works on our stuff, and he did some Animosity albums, etc. Have a long history.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess he just said, hey, it would be cool if you guys got, Naveen to do some stuff, and then they needed a drummer. It was like really sudden. Like, hey, can you do this gig like tomorrow? I think it was literally, can you do this gig tomorrow? And I happened to have the day free, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then went in there and nailed it, obviously. Just killed it. Blew people's minds.
That's how you keep getting jobs, though. You know, if you go in there and you do it once.
What's sort of funny, though, about me, like, it does seem cool. Like, when I look back, I'm like, wow, I've done some pretty cool gigs, if you will. But I didn't really set out to do that.
Totally.
I'm just a dude keeping it real. And if people want to get some, then they can get some.
Yeah. You don't really do everything. You don't at all actually do everything that comes your way. So.
No, that's what's cool about music for me is I have a day job, so I'm not desperate to do gigs all over the place. So yeah, I can just do the ones that I actually really want to do. And I think I'm going to keep it that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
No compromise.
That's something that I really enjoy too. Like the other day, I turned down something that I was like, this isn't really like
not my thing.
It's just not my thing. Like it would have been great for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just not really my thing.
I think it's good to be able to do that.
I do think that it is good to have that leverage because
that freedom.
You'll end up just like doing things that you can't even really stand behind if you don't have that freedom.
Definitely. 100%. And I think, I think that's the coolest part to me. When I look back on all the stuff that I've done, I'm pretty into all of it. I think it was all like a good time.
That's a good thing.
I had good reasons for doing it all, not just money.
Totally. That's awesome.
A couple, something here and there might have slipped in there, but
for sure. It does, as it does. Do you want to ask that enduring reverie question?
Oh, let me see that. Enduring reverie. Sure. Ask it. Are there going to be synths on the new record? Synths on Dark Future were epic and cohesive?
I don't know about Cohesive.
Oh, there's a question mark. Like, I'm Ron Burgundy.
Oh, I think I typed the question mark.
And cohesive?
I think I typed the question mark because when I was reading it, I was like, this is questionable.
We've been trying to figure out what that looks like. To be
That's a good way to put it.
I think the synths are really cool.
In theory.
They make a lot more sense before the vocals are on there. And I feel like there is a bit of a clash between like super sick metal vocals and like weird experimental plucky synths. So I think there was a bit of a crowding going on in certain parts of Dark Future. Not all the parts.
No. But in some parts of Dark Future,
it's kind of like, what's the focus here? What's going on here?
Yeah, it felt in parts of Dark Future, it felt more like there was an instrumental band playing with metal vocals on top of it. Not in every part.
Not in every part, but yeah.
There are a lot of parts in Dark Future that I'm so proud of.
Yeah.
That are just really well written. And I can look back on it now and be like, this is great.
And I think I was just super hyped on synths at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to put synths on every part. Fuck it.
Totally.
But now I'm sort of seeing things a little more as a whole. Like, where does it really need a synth?
Yeah.
And where does it need maybe like an eerie guitar lead? Or a layer vocal, or I'm not trying to do things just because like I got some cool new synth and I want to use it, type of a situation. So that's really what we're trying to do. We are obviously taking our time a little bit more on this one, and
a bit more.
Yeah, like hell of more.
I think we've actually been writing the record for like a little over a year.
Oh, longer than that, because I wrote the first song right when we got back from that tour, like 2 days after we got back.
Yeah, but then there was a whole second half written to the album that was scrapped and rewritten in like December.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's been a while. 2 years.
It's been a while, and I'm listening to it now, like with vocals on there, and I'm thinking, okay, where do the layers go? Now, mind you, there is a lot of really cool layers, but they might not always be a synth. It might be a guitar. It might be a bass. Might be. So instead of having like all that happening all at once and just going, okay, whoa, I don't even know what to focus on here.
Yeah.
We're sort of being a little more mindful at choosing what is the focus.
Yeah. And
the focus is always something that I'm doing.
Most of the time. We've been that mindful with the entirety of the record.
Yeah.
From the art to the music videos to the mixing.
Like we were just talking about something earlier today that was like, whoa, mind blowing, like just really wrapping things all together. We're trying to make the whole thing an immersive experience.
Absolutely. And
so we can't be like throwing people off with. Sorry, the cat just ran in.
Oh, that's good. Oh, he's here. Hey, buddy, come here.
So yeah, we're trying to.
Come here, Steve. But yeah, we just want this record to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it has been a long time since our last record. Okay, on all accounts, it's been. Dark Future came out in 2017. It's 2021 now. We're probably seeing like in the first half of 2022 release, but.
5 years, that's not so bad.
We put out, we had 3 releases in the first like 3 years of being in a band. So we kind of did rapid fire right away. But with all of the changes that have happened in our band, it's like we've gone through a whole reimagining of what our band is and what we want it to be.
And Theo's reimagined.
It really, I mean, it's almost like it's not a new band. It's very much like the same heart and soul of the band.
You guys are going to love this album, okay?
I don't know.
It is killer.
I hope you do.
No, I don't have any hope. Like I was saying earlier, I just say things that I know. And I know that people are going to fucking like this album.
Yeah, I just mean,
look at me being like, oh, I don't brag, and now it just turned into the brag episode.
It's taken a while, but it's because we have been born again.
True that. All right, Cheney, let's just take one more of these questions.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with thank you guys, for listening. Now that we're 2 Bud Light seltzers deep.
I got 2 Bud Light seltzers, and I'm ready to...
I'm ready for dinner. The last
All right, well,
question.
hey, Cheney, with dinner, that being said, tacos or burritos?
Well, we live in California. Rob McCambridge Drums
That's what he wants to know.
Wants to know tacos or burritos. We live in California. It's burritos all day, baby. And
damn,
dude, I'm all about flour tortillas. Naveen has always known this about me.
That's true. Cheney only does flour. No corn. Not doing
Unless it's a freshly made corn.
That's true. Or if it's...
half corn, half flour.
Or you throw some oil down in the pan and you throw that corn tortilla in there. Dude. All right, no, that's pretty good. Melt some cheese on there. Vegan cheese.
Or if we're at Taco Bell, crunchy Taco Bell.
So yeah, I would have to say burritos too. I don't really ever order tacos.
You're from California.
Yeah.
You know who has really good burrito or really good tacos? Chipotle.
What?
Chipotle, pote. There's a tour term for you.
Pote, dude.
But at this point, I've forgotten what's like a tour term and what's something that we made up.
Blurred the lines. All right, well there you have it, everybody. I'm not wearing any pants, so I know that's something that's my secret.
I was thinking maybe next week. It's either next week or the week after, or the week after that when your sister is getting married, that we're going to be posting that Bill Oberender episode. That was a good one. That was a good one.
We got one banked for
Billy
you guys.
O. He's the reason we say Dick Ripper. So
True. All right. Well,
we got one in the bank. It's from a while ago.
Cheney, any last words before we come back?
You guys should check out the new Zenith Passage track.
Yeah,
it's the return of Derek Demon Ridquist and Brandon Giffen from the Faceless.
Yeah, so sick.
It's really goddamn
track.
good.
Really good.
We love those guys.
Great guys.
So on that note, have a good week, everybody.
We'll
Happy
see
Wednesday.
You motherfuckers next week.
Love y'all.
I just hit the wrong song. This is the intro song, not the outro.
They're different?
Yeah. Here, hold on, I'll play.
Oh, they're different.
So the outro creeps in.
See, that's producer shit. Have a good week.
See you next week, everybody.